Okay, so we had a big fuck up. So basically these tiny little ones, which ironically enough, I said be careful, don't drop them, they'll get damaged. Dropped it, it got damaged. Hey! Yeah, that's true. So we had to get a new one of them. Okay, so the carbs are all stripped down. I've got everything in tiny little pieces. You can see that there's a little bit of sediment in the float bowls. So there's a possibility that on the slow run jets, which are these, which have got a teeny tiny little hole inside, which you can't even see through. So what you basically want to do is once you've cleaned them, you actually want to look through. So you might be able to see it on the camera. Let me see. So can you see it? See how there's a little tiny hole? Booyah. That's actually what you want to be looking for every time. So that's what you want to be looking for every time that you clean these, or when you take them out and you check them. Have a quick look through. So long as you can see all the way through them, happy days. You also want to see if it's completely circular as well, because sometimes what you'll find is that even when you get them clean, there might be still a little bit of debris in there, or it's a bit damaged, and you'll see like little, it's not circular anymore. I mean, your eyesight needs to be pretty good for that, but yeah, either way, you need to be able to see through them. The other thing to note is whenever you take them all apart, write down all the settings. So note down all of the adjustments for the air. On these, you've got air bypasses, fuel mixture, your slow running, and your mains. I mean, for us, it's not going to be a big deal realistically because we're going to change them all, but it's a good reference to go off. So we'll basically, once you strip them all down, note them down. Also, the main jets may not always be the exact same across all 4 cylinders. So you may need to make sure that you put like outers, inners, and then note that down as well. Because obviously it's all going to get mixed up when we stick it in the parts washer. So all of these parts now, all of the brass and aluminium parts are going to go into the parts washer, which is basically just a big bath with a bit of acid in. That's then going to vibrate like mad and clean everything up. So we're going to do that now, and while that's doing, we're going to clean these. So these aren't going to go in the parts washer. These are, well, they're not going to go in the ultrasonic, they're going to go in the parts washer, get blasted out, and then rebuilt, blown out, put back in. Cool, let's do it. Oh. 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 There's your ASMR. And then just dunk the rest. Good. It's like cooking. All finished in its bath. Let's get everything out. So a lot of this is going to drip inside, and because there's acid in here, you've got to make sure that you wear gloves. There's a little bit of a shake, some bits will fall through, but that's not a problem. Look how shiny they are. So we'll take these and we'll just put them straight into the water. The water's just to wash away the acid, and then we give them a clean. So just basically we're just tipping everything in. And then you can see how they've come up pretty shiny. I mean, they weren't too bad. A lot of this stuff, I think they'd already been replaced not too long ago. But it's part of our process because we don't want to run the risk of anything being dirty and not notice and just assuming that it's okay because somebody else has already said they've cleaned it. It's just not worth it. May have to do this in 2 trips. So we're now going to just build everything back up. So it's a case of getting everything transferred back over here, get all your new O-rings on and greased and installed, new gaskets, etc, etc. We're going to leave all the original settings as they were because obviously it didn't run before, so we haven't got any delta to go off in relation to how the fueling currently is and therefore what changes to make. So rather than muddy the water. We're literally going to run with the standard settings and then make changes from there. Get it running and then see where we are and then make changes. So let's get everything on. So we're just replacing all the O-rings and kicking the cameraman.
Not nice.
Well, they get in the way, they get kicked. So these are the rebuild kits that we've got. So, but you've got to be careful because you don't want to get grease inside any of the holes. So,
Don't want a greasy hole.
don't want a greasy hole. Well, you do, but you don't.
What do you mean by it? Wow. Can't even see it. Wow.
An extra one in there as well. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Tre fantastico. These.
Don't drop it again. Is that what you dropped last time?
Yeah. Don't say that. I never drop anything.
You literally said it in the last video.
Did I?
Yeah, you dropped.
Yeah, but you were supposed to edit that out. Don't let people know. Okay, so when you put O-rings on these, you've got two different ways of doing it. You can pull it across the threads, which is okay. The other way of doing it is putting it over the top, but if you put it over the top, make sure that you put it on so that the O-ring starts right where the gap is. So you're never pulling it across the gap because otherwise you're gonna pierce the O-ring. So because it goes to there and it'll just drop straight down. It won't put any, because obviously it's sharp, so you just gotta be careful. We don't want no split rings. When we put these on, we always pop a little bit of grease on the thread, and right now I'm putting on a little bit onto the actual spring as well because it'll hold it on while I'm putting it in. And always put some on the actual O-ring as well. That'll do. It's not going on. Sorted. This is going to be immeasurably difficult. So, hit a little bit of a quandary, which I'm going to have to look at the actual manual for this to see what it actually is. Because if you look there, see how the actual top of the needle and the base of this slide is basically the same kind of level. That's because it's got this little washer in there, but that recess goes a lot further down. But this nylon washer is too fat, so it basically doesn't go in. The outer diameter is too big. If you remove that and you drop it all the way in, it obviously drops all the way down. As you can see in there, it's completely seated. I feel like there's something wrong because the other thing as well is when you've got the washers on, it makes it nigh on impossible to get the spring on top of the needle, which it should have a spring on top, because what that does is it holds it in place. I feel like it's all kind of doing weird stuff. So I may have to investigate. Oh yeah, shiny. Plugs out. So this is not the colour that you want. What colour is that? That's black, that is. So basically, if it's like that, it's super sooty, it's just it's too rich. Now, on a bike that we were questioning over fuel and blah, 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 it could be loads of different reasons why it's super sooty. But we will clean them up, gap them, and then get them back in. We are going to put a new set of plugs in, but for now, we'll just run them. So we'll clean them, gap them, get them back in, get the carbs on, get it on a fresh fuel, on a caddy, so we'll just have that. Get it running, and then we'll see where we go. Plug chops are great and they tell a good story. Obviously for us it's not as important because we've got the dyno, so the dyno is going to have lots of AFR values and readings and stuff to be able to make sure that we're getting exactly what we expect to be getting, and we can go separate cylinder if we wanted to, but it's always good to just pull the plug out and have a little look, because you can tell a lot of information from a plug chop. So not only the colour, but also if there's any degradation in there or if you're getting any detonation or anything, it's going to tell you. So quite good, quite useful tool. Carbs all built up. Now there's a few extra things that we do as well, which Anyway, where you've got linkages, give them a bit of lubricant as well so that it makes everything a little bit easier. So where you've got this central shaft that runs around the top to be able to lift the actual the arms up and lift the slides, just give them a bit of a grease as well, make sure that they're nice and lubricated. Same for the common rail that runs to lift up the choke as well, so that you can see they're a bit greasy. It's because basically we've greased them all so that everything moves as neatly and easily as it can, and it future-proofs it. And it's the same for when we're putting any of the mixture screws. So this is an air bypass screw, so basically what we'll do with these is we do the same thing. So we grease the actual threads and we put a little bit of grease on the O-rings as well. So what it's basically doing is it's adding an extra barrier to any additional air getting in, because anywhere where you've got air bleeding past that's uncontrolled, then it means that you're more than likely going to have a running issue and you're not going to be able to set it up properly. So we're going to do all that. We've done all that as well. Now, if this was complicated to fit, we would actually put a head of fuel on these now and pressure test them and make sure that we're not getting any fuel leaks. But it's like 2 seconds to stick the carbs on this, so we'll do it on the bike because you have to mount them in position where they're going to roughly be anyway. So we'll just get them banged on and then give it a check. Cool, let's go. Grease all the rubbers, making sure that everything's nice and where it needs to be. Position all your clamps as well so that they're in a good position. Now, again, this is such an easy bike to install. There's so much room around everything. You don't really need to plan your, what was I going to say, insertion. No, that's not as exciting. Insertion. So you don't need to plan the insertion with these because obviously you just shove them in. Oh yeah. But on a lot of carbs where you've got like lots of breathers and fuel lines and all of that type of stuff, same with the throttle, the actual cables, you want to make sure that you have everything in position to be able to slide them in without bashing, crashing, thrashing everything, or you get them all the way in there and realise you can't actually get to the stuff that you need to get to in the first place. So plan your insertion. The only thing you've got to avoid is that big bugger. But everything else should be okay. It's easier said than done because I don't want to stick my face in front of the camera. Oh, them clamps are so ropey. Look at how twisted they're going. See how it's pissing off to the side? It's not pulling them nice and central. That means it's crap. That's what it means. But more and more and more, it'll just pull to the side more and more and more, and eventually it'll just not tighten. But for now, it's clamping it. So these are these are going to be coming back off again in a minute. So why are they coming off again? You've just done the bit that he wanted to do. He doesn't want to do no more than that. Don't push him. Don't push him. I'm just greasing the ring. Ask me a question, I'll give you the answer. Just getting the rubber on. I'll have a quick look, see if I've got any clamps. It would go down to the size I need. Well, in the real world, you'd put these on before, but plug mine on. Yeah, because there's not as many people getting down the road. No, it turned and then it carried on turning and now it's stuck. Woo! Let's turn that off. Where's it pissing from? Okay, now. All it needed was to just clear itself. Bang the fuel on. Bang the fuel on. Yeah. This is where grease is your friend, because it'll just hold everything on while you arse around. The only problem is I've got grease on the top and the bottom, so now it's not just sticking to the bottom, it's also sticking to... All done, we've got it all back together again. We'd had a little run around, so we're pretty happy now. We replaced the fuel line as well. So the original fuel line, obviously the rubber was just getting old and cracky. So we've replaced all of that, replaced the fuel filter, the inline filter as well, which we don't like, the glass ones, so we've replaced it with one of ours. Happy days, yeah, all sorted. Done!